Agud Voch Rabboisai. Wow. It's really, really overwhelming. Welcome, everyone. Right now is the shir. I'll give a little bit. I'll say a couple of words, not too many, later on in the hall. We expect a number of speeches, very short speeches, about 3 minutes a speech. And I'll give mine as well. Just a few years ago, we were in a very small room. We did a siyum on Avodah Zara, 8 people, 10 people, 3.5 years ago. And this is what it is today. It's unbelievable. It's overwhelming. So thank you for joining us. As everybody got situated, I asked on Friday how many people know what a tzara is, and only like 50% of the people in the room raised their hand. I think the other 50 might have been embarrassed, but because they didn't raise their hand, I just want to go through a little bit of a demonstration here to make sure that everybody understands it so that we can move on in the sugya. So behind me we have Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda. Reuven is married to the Berka lady and to the Yerushalmi lady. He's married to 2 women. I wanted to ask him to come up here, but there's really not enough room. We're going to do this whole thing, but we're jammed in here. It happens to be that the Yerushalmi lady is Shimon's daughter. So I'm going to take this and put this on the Yerushalmi lady. There's a little picture of Shimon here. This is why she's usher to Shimon. If Reuven goes kaput, these 2 women fall to Yibum to Shimon. But since Shimon cannot marry or be miyabim this Yerushalmi lady, so her tzara, this lady right over here, is a tzara. She's a co-wife, and I'm going to put co-wife on her. She becomes a tzara to, in the picture, the Yerushalmi lady, co-wife. But there are more brothers. There's Levi, and there's Yehuda. By the way, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda have a resemblance in the room right now. Unbelievable. So, Levi, Dr. Levi, decides to marry the best one in the house, the Berka lady. We'll take her. Goes like this. Okay. Now we're over here. Levi marries Berka. I hope Levi's wife isn't here. Levi happens to be married to the 5 Towns woman as well. There she is. She's hiding. 5 Town. Since they're both married to the same man, to Levi. Oops. So this 5 Town lady becomes, let's see where it is. Here we go. This 5 Town lady becomes what? A tsaras tsara. There we go. She becomes usher to Shimon. Talking about Shimon over here. As you can see, Berka lady. She becomes usher because of Berka lady, who is usher because of Yerushalmi lady. She is the co-wife of the co-wife. This Berka lady is the co-wife of the Yerushalmi lady, who's a daughter of Shimon. Now that they're married together to the same man, Levi, so the 5-town woman becomes usher to Shimon because she is the co-wife of the co-wife. Now she's the co-wife with Berka lady, who used to be the co-wife with the Yerushalmi lady. That is the whole sugya. Now we can start where we are in the middle of the sugya of Ehsed Doicha Loisasa. We got to make it quick before my father arrives and he starts giving me a aris. Yeah, sponsors. I don't know if you can hear me. Aha. Aha. Oi, oi, oi. Diddy-da-da-da, diddy-da-da-da. How many people in the room know what a Zera Shel is? Yay! Zera Shel. I don't hear myself. Okay. This month's Koil sponsor is Mr. Anonymous. Lila Nismas. Lila Nishmas Chaya Bas Yosef. They don't hear.
Stefansky, you stole my hair! What's up with that?
Stefansky, you killed my husband!
Who are these guys? Who let them in?
My son!
I don't want to marry that person!
All right. Lama lo shomim. No? The Koil sponsor of the month is Mr. Anonymous Chaya Bas Yosef. The last day, zechus for Rafael Shlomo Ben Lifsha and Rivka Bas Gila that should be zoche to Zera Shel Kayama bikarov. Shauly Rosenfeld, in memory of my dear friend Yehuda Augenbaum, and by the Lock Lebovic families, Lakewood as a zechus for our families. Paras Achoyd Jonathan Davydov, in memory of Bechor Davydov Ben penir, Neshama have an Aliyah. By Dovid Steinherz, in honor of his wife Batya on the 20th wedding anniversary. Gershon, you should ask those guys not to play the music over there. The wind is blowing and it bothers me. Gewirtzman family, Lzeicher Moshe Ben Neshama have an Aliyah. Lifsha, in honor of Levi Ethan Leichter, the great Hill Kamiansky. By ShaulE Wassertheil, Lili Nishmas, Eko Ednotzi Poira Basra Moshe Ben Levi. And Be'ezer Hashem, we're going to have an amazing daf now. Today's daf is daf Hey. It's a good thing I left 2 charts at home. We're going to have to do without them. So we have to hold a little bit cuff because I don't have the chart. And it goes something like this. How's the video? Shkoya, it's right in my face. I don't think so. Not going to happen. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Rabbi said not to forget Daf Amud Beis. And that is, if we have a Yavam who a Yevama fell to him and she happens to be his wife's sister. She's one of the Arayas. Does anybody have a Havamina that a Yavam should be Miyabim, his own daughter, his sister-in-law? Why do we need a special pasuk, Aleha? That is the sugi for the next 4 or 5 daf. Gemara says, I would think, Esed doicha loisasa. You see by tzitzis that you could do tzitzis with chelas, which is wool. It's a doiraisa to wear shatnas, and we're wearing tzitzis, linen and wool together. So I would think they could be miyabim erva. Kamash ben Lola and Olea, you cannot be miyabim her. But the Gemara went through a whole process on Friday. It's because we have an extra word, beged. We know according to Tanit Be'er Shmal, a beged means tzemer pishtim. So the words tzemer pishtim are extra. We have tzemer pishtim extra. That what? Since we have those extra words and the psukim of shatnez and tzitzis are together, therefore I see the concept of esed doich. Confused already? All right, somebody go home and print my thing, which I worked on right before coming here. Again, we have the idea of esed doich in tzitzis, and therefore I think that would apply also to yibum. But that's only according to Tanit Rabbi Shmuel because there's an extra word. Because Tanit Rabbi Shmuel holds every time it says beged, it means automatically tzemer pishtim. But according to Rabbanan, it doesn't mean automatically tzemer pishtim. So the words tzemer pishtim are not extra. According to them, how do we know it? Top of Daf Yomi. Everybody have a piece of paper, a Gemara? Great. We got to move. So how do Rabbanan know this idea of esed doich? Oh, you know what? I'm making it up. I do have a chart. Here we go. According to Tanit Rabbi Shmuel, the word beged is extra, not beged. I mean tzemer pishtim. So it teaches us that tzitzis, which are shatnez, esed doich. But according to Rabbanan, that tzemer pishtim is not extra because beged does not mean always tzemer pishtim. So the Torah has to tell me beged tzemer pishtim. So we don't have any yitur. We don't have an extra word. That's today's sugya. What's the extra word to teach us the idea of esed doich? The Gemara goes through one word, roishai, another word, zkanai. Then the Gemara goes through the words by tzitzis, and finally we come up with shatnez. The word shatnez is extra. Okay, that's today's sugya. Says the Gemara, nafkulu miroishai. It says by mitzoira, the sanya. Roisha metama loymar. If the Torah already tells us, look at this chart, if you can see it. Is there a TV that shows it? Anybody see it? What does it say? Kol sa'arai, including his eyebrows, including his head, everything. Second later it says esroishai, his head. Why? That's extra. Okay, so we have an extra word. Now, is it also to shave one's head completely? Machlokes. It might be baltakifu according to one mandor, according to another mandor. It typically is baltakifu, but only if you do part of your head just by the pay, it's not your whole head. Says the Gemara. Even a mitzvah should not shave his whole head. He holds it is also for a regular human being to shave off everything on his head. Therefore, it's also for the mitzayra. And the fact that the Torah says, mitzayra, a guy that has saras, he has afflictions of skin on his body, the final process before he becomes tar is to shave his entire head, which is what? A issa d'oraisa, and it pushes off the mitzvah, what the Torah says, that you're mitzayra, to shave your head. So what do you see? Essa doicha loisasa, the positive commandment, the mitzvah, of shaving your head as a mitzvah pushes off the avera of Baal Takif. And that teaches us for the rest of the Torah, if I have a positive mitzvah, I have a mitzvah, like Yibum, Bimi Yavim, your sister-in-law, even though she's your wife's sister. Even though, crazy, she's your daughter. Kamash malon aleha, you don't do that. That's why I need a special word, aleha. Going back to the original question, why in the world do I need aleha? I'll tell you why. Because typically in the Torah, you would push off a big avera to do a mitzvah. Says Gemara, you know what? We're here. Let me just say for 2 seconds. What are the shiurim? Shaving. A lot of guys, it's stylish to shave your whole head. The Rabbanan Paskin, it's 5.5 millimeters, which is a number 2 on your haircut machine, or a number 5 on a trimmer. So you have to have at least 5.5 millimeters of hair in order not to be over on Baal Takif. That's why it's very important to realize here in Eretz Yisrael they have a chsherim in barbershops. Why? Because not all the barbers know you can't go with a 0 right by the ear and cut around. That could be a issa d'oraisa of Baal Takif. The Sfardim, I believe, hold. I know that Teimanim hold all you need is 40 hairs, which is a very interesting halacha based on the Rambam, 40 hairs. And the Sfardim are much less makbid. They say, I think 3.5 millimeters. 3.5 if you're Sfardi, 5.5 if you're Ashkenazi. Okay. Weiter. Ikil Mifrach. So we're going to take that word Roshai. Remember I said we're going to go from Roshai to Skane, back to Roshai, and finally to Shabbos. Women could shave their heads. They have no problem. There's no baltakif. In fact, I saw brought down, if there's somebody, let's say a sick person, Rahmal Etzlan, going through chemo, whatever, needs a haircut, it's probably better for the woman to shave, and that's what they're saying. Ayin Sham. Because she's not in the Isser of baltakif herself. Hakaf is only by men. But Yibum, of course, is a partnership between a man and a woman, so the woman is also chayiv. Therefore, I cannot learn out from Mitzayra. Elasim Iskana. So now I have a tchiyah, lav shein yeshav bakal. It's not a lav that is equal by men and women, but now we're going to say, well, even that's the case, Asim Iskana, the beard by a kayan who's a Mitzayra, the sign is kanay matavaloy ma lefisha nemar. It says in Torah you shouldn't shave your beard. Maybe he shouldn't shave his beard during the process of tahara. It's very embarrassing. Imagine. You have a beard your whole life. Some of these chassidim, they come in. I had a chassid, I'm not going to mention his name, a great guy in my house. He has a small little beard. Yossi Klein. And right before Shabbos, I saw it literally comes to his belt. He rolls it up. So his whole life he's working on it, then it becomes a mitzayra, part of the process, shave. You come out, no, he must shave his beard. So you see the idea of and Yibum should also have that, but what about it's lav shein yeshav bakal? We already have a source of lav shein yeshav bakal, it's only by men. So since we already said that chiddush, so we'll learn, that's the famous concept, if there's no chiddush over here, let's use the chiddush here and put it somewhere else by Zakan to teach us, so Yavam should be Miyavim, his sister-in-law, even though she happens to be his wife's sister. How can I learn from there? The Torah gives Kohanim more mitzvahs, and therefore what? So skana remains a lav shein yeshav bakal, and how do I know that lav hashav bakal? You say as just as a side point, the Chavas Yevamos brings down that kohanim. Why do they have more mitzvahs than Yisraelim? Well, because they have more mitzvahs than Yisraelim, they have more obligations, more avodah. They do more stuff in the Beis Hamikdash. So it goes hand in hand. HaKadosh Baruch Hu pays them back, so to speak. They have more mitzvahs in the Beis Hamikdash. They get more matanas. They get more gifts, more stuff. It's a lesson for us. He says the Chavas Yevamos, that the more a person is zoche to have things in this world, you have a nice car, you have a nice family, you have a house, you're not in Ukraine right now running for your life, you owe HaKadosh Baruch Hu that much more. Each yid has to look at himself and say, look what I have. Based on what I have to work more, I have to do more avodah to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Kohen, he gets more than us, he has to do more mitzvahs. So we have to apply that to our life also. How lucky we are, and therefore, how much more we have to do for HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Rabbi said, please quiet down in the back. Everybody in the back, please quiet down. That's Gary, by the way. He's not in the booth, but he's on the mic. We're going to get a buzzer pretty soon, I guess. Wow. Chaim, you should come here for a second. I don't know if you could get here. You got to take this in. It's unbelievable. Could somebody take a shot from there? You. Eugene, how you doing? Okay. Says the Gemara, Komash Malon, Didachi. Okay, so you can't bring a raya from Kohen, says the Gemara. They have extra mitzvahs. So even though it's a lav, shein yishav bakol, only men are mechuyev not to shave their beard. Now women, I'm not going to make any jokes like that. I once tried it and I got 17 emails. I'm a woman and I have a beard. Why do you make fun of me? Okay. It's interesting. I just want to point out real quickly. We're in a rush, but Tosfos says an amazing thing. He says in Dibur HaMaskil Vakati Yitzrich, he says, like a few lines before Dibur HaMaskil Vakati Yitzrich, he says, Mishum da'asei de mitzayra otif mishar asei. Listen to this. That Kosh Baruch Hu, the way the mitzvahs work, have beauty to them, and the asay of a mitzayra is better than all mitzvahs. Why? The Gadol HaShalom. A man is separated from his wife, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want that. Through his tahara, mutter, he becomes mutter to his wife, says Tosfos. And that's why the mitzvah, we're going to do all sorts of things to make it happen for him. Says the Gemara, remember we had before a Tana that says that shaving your entire head is asur. This Tana says shaving your entire head is not asur. What's asur is, I actually printed it if somebody wants to see, these are the bones. It goes from here to here to here. This, you must leave this, you can't shave this. But this Tana holds that if you shave even this, you're not over. If you shave everything off, you're not over. The only time you're over, according to this Tana, is if you shave just this. But if a guy is completely shaved, he's not over. Okay. So it goes like this. You're not allowed to shave your head. So if a person is a Mitzayra, he decided to refrain from drinking wine. And as he's not drinking wine and not doing the things that a Nazir doesn't do, he became a Mitzayra Nebuch. Oh, sorry. So I would think that in the process of his Tahara, he should not shave. He's a Nazir. A Nazir cannot cut his hair. But in the process of Tahara for Mitzayra, he must shave it. We have a problem here. What should he do? We have a dilemma. On the one hand, Rabbi Isai in the back over there. If you're part of the shir, you must listen to the shir. If you're not part of the shir, what are you doing here? This is only for people in the shir, Rabbi Isai. And I don't hear the women speaking, I only hear the guys. Shkoya. All right. So, again, so it says that this Mitzayra who happens to be a Nazir should shave his head. What do we see? And therefore by Yevamos also he should marry his sister-in-law who is his wife's sister. Kamash Malon, Aliyah. Going back to that also. The Gemara, no. He's so weak. The reason why we push off his whole thing, we don't care about him, is because if he goes and asks the Rav to let him out of the whole thing, it'll be retroactively batal and Mela, it's okay. And I'll prove to you that we say the Svara, is the S is stronger than two things, a Asay and a Lois Asay. Let's learn now from here that it's stronger. Why? Because a Nazir has two, an Asay and a Lois Asay, and we say push it off with the one Asay. So you see an Asay pushes off an Asay and a Lois Asay. Ella, the reason is, like we just said a second ago, because you could undo it. You could go to the Rav, and the Rav would say you're not a Nazir anymore, and therefore he shaves. So what we really have here, we have a guy that's a Mitzayra and a Nazir. And I'm telling you, shave your head even though you're a Nazir. You know why? Because you're really, really weak. You're weak. Your whole Naziros could fly out like that. All you need to go is go to the rabbi, he'll get rid of it for you. So such a Naziros, we don't care about. Or all Naziros. Says the Gemara. Says the Gemara, turning to Daf Amud Beis. Mikra Kama. So first of all, sponsored by Moshe Horn in honor of Shmuley Sugar, the original sugar shaker. And sponsored by Moshe Ginsbergsky, who's here in the audience. Shalom Aleichem Moshe. In honor of Brian and Talia Edgar. Says the Gemara. We're going to go back to what we started off the whole shir with. We're going to learn now from tzitzis. Tzitzis, you could put in your tzitzis tchelis, which is wool, even though the beged is linen. So you see the idea of esel. But what's the problem? You told me, but there's no extra word. You need an extra word in tzitzis in order to learn the smuchim that shatnez and tzitzis are together, as you recall. We need an extra word. What's the extra word? We just worked hard. What's the extra word? Is it rosh? Is it skanai? I'll tell you what the extra word is. The word gedilim is extra. Let's try that first. That's the extra word. And I learned the whole thing. Says the Gemara, it's not true, it's not extra. Says to teach me how many strings go in your tzitzis. Gedil shnayim. What does deal mean? It means to weave it together. You can't twine it together if you don't have two. You can't take one string and how are you going to do it? Twining means you take two strings and go together, right? Like this. You take this and go together with this. So you need two. That's gdil. But the Torah says gdilim. So 2 times 2. Gdilim is plural. 2 times 2. How many strings do we have now? 4. What do you do with the 4 strings? Arba. Gdil shnayim gdilim arba. I say gdil upaisleum mitoichai. Take the 4 strings, put them into the hole of the tzitzis, and now you have 8. So first of all, 2 things. You ever wonder how come there's a lot of knots on top of your tzitzis, and then you have a lot of strings hanging out? What's going on here? That's here right now. There's 2 things going on here. There's gdil, that means make all your knots, but there's also pasleu. You got to make sure that there's some strings that are dangling. You can't just make knots through and through. Now let's see Rashi inside for a second. Rashi says, Gedilim arba chutim demiyut gedilim shnayim. Try to see if you see in Rashi a question. What's Rashi trying to avoid here? Gedilim arba chutim demiyut gedilim shnayim uchsiv v'nosnu al tzitzis akanav psil. The Torah says, Asay mahanach arba chutim gedil echad. Take these 4 strings, make 1. The havlu shmoy chutim yishatoich v'miknaf ha-beged. What's Rashi trying to avoid? Rashi is trying to avoid Tosfos' question. Tosfos asks, maybe the Torah is telling us, take 4 strings, take each individual string and make a knot on the corner of the beged. Take another string, another knot. How do you know you do it all together? L'chayr, that's what Rashi is trying to avoid. And Rashi says, because it says a kind of psil. You're supposed to make 1 knot out of all the strings. Okay. Next. Imkein. Again, we said maybe the extra word is gdilim. It's not extra. It comes to teach us how many strings you need. Now I have a new extra word. Yachdav is the extra word. And again, let's just review, because why not? If we have extra word, that will allow us to take the 2 psukim. How you doing, Shlomo? Take the 2 psukim of shatnez and tzitzis and put them together and say, I could make tzitzis out of shatnez, which means which means that should apply also by yibum. You should be able to be miyabim your own daughter. Kamash malon oleha, that you cannot do it. As the Gemara, that word yachdav is not extra. That if I take, how do I make shatnez, Rabbi Isai? I need 2 tchifos. Let's see if I can find it here somewhere. Here we go. When I'm sewing shatnez together, I need 2 in and out. You see, like this picture. I don't know if you can see. In is 1. Out and in is the second one. That's how I'm over. Midoraisa. That's why my suit that had threads in it, touching threads, is the Rabban, not the Reis. That's not considered connecting, unless there's a knot or something. Okay, let's try again. Imkain. What's the extra word? If I want to tell you, do not put two products together, semer and pishtim, so that's the way to say it. Don't put those two products. Shatnez lamali. What's this word shatnez? Shmamino. It's extra. La'afnuye. It's extra. And therefore, if it's extra, then the smuchim go together, and I learned this. The Lzeicher said I would say the same thing by Yevamos, but I can't do it by Yevamos. That's why I have a Aliyah. That's the Gemara, but it's not extra. The word shatnez is a Rosh Tevis. Shua tavi v'nois. It has to be smooth. It should be spun and then woven together. Those three things. Rashi is of the opinion that you need those three things in order to be over shatnez d'oraisa. You can't take a ready-made semer string and a ready-made pishton string and put them together and be over shatnez according to Rashi. You have to make it from the factory in one. According to other Rishonim, they argue with him. But upon him, the word shatnez is not extra. Says the Gemara, ela kula min shatnez nafka. What does that mean? It means if the Torah indeed wanted to tell me this idea, that you have to do shua, tavi v'nois, klayim. So the Torah would have said the word klayim. Klayim means together. Then I don't need the word shatnez. The reason the Torah used the funny word shatnez, that gives us one extra limud. So I'm learning from the word shatnez two things: shua, tavi, v'nois, and the idea of it should have said. So again, the Torah should have said shua, tavi, v'nois. Why did the Torah say it like interesting shatnez? And if I wanted to tell you chiddush. Klayim, so what's this shatnez? Use the word klayim. The fact that the Torah didn't say klayim, didn't say shua tavi nice, use the funny word. Shatnez teaches us two things. And I have an extra word. And that's what the Gemara is going to state now. That the extra word by tzitzis that I learned that you could combine semer and pishtim together. Hold on, where's my phone? 1 second. I got it, hold on. This is too much for me. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. You're going to take a panoramic. Selfie? Yeah. Unbelievable. Shkoya. No, Bittul Torah, what are you guys doing? We're in the middle of the shir here. Says Gemara, great. Okay, tzitzis, what's the big deal? He took a little wool, he put a little tzemer, he's not over, he's not going to get kares for it. Loisas sheyesh bekares like yibum. We want to compare tzitzis to yibum, that you should have relations with your wife's sister. It doesn't go. Why would I think such a thing? I need a special word oleh to say that it's awesome. If a person has to perform Mila on Shabbos, so you see that the assay of Mila pushes off the big Aveira of Shabbos. If you cut somebody like that, typically you're chayiv kares, unless the Zaydin, then who knows what, chayiv misa. Says Gemara, you can't learn anything from Mila, Mala Mila, Shgenichriso Aleh, Shalosh Esrei Brisois. Mila is very special. You could look in your Deya Siman Reish Samach. There's a lot of things there that he talks about. Different things. Akoponim. You can't learn from Mila. So, just remember, first thing we try to learn from is Mila. We're going to try three things. Me-Pesach. That you're allowed to shech the korban Pesach on Shabbos, even though taking the life of the animal is also typical in Shabbos. For korban Pesach is mutter. Mala Pesach shegin kares. You know why? If you don't bring the korban Pesach, you chayiv kares. So that's why. But mechatesa, if you're not miyab and yevama, you don't get kares. Why would you even think that it's mutter to be miyab your own daughter or your wife's sister? Says Gemara mitamid. I learned it from Korban Tamid. That what? Korban Tamid pushes off Shabbos. I bring a Korban Tamid every single day of the week. So perhaps, you see, even though typically it's kares, so Yibam also, with one of the arayis that's kares, says Gemara Malatamid Shekain Tadir. You hear this? Unbelievable. We're here at the siyum of Seder Mayim. In the siyum of Zvachim, I said over this medrash, and when we hired Charlie Harari, he said it over for Masechta Shabbos. Everybody knows this, but because of the coincidence, there's no coincidence in life. I have to say it over again. And for all the new guys. And that is, there was a debate between the Tanoim, and I don't remember the names. If you want to encapsulate the whole Torah into what pasuk, what would the pasuk be? One Tana came along and said, "You have it." Well, you're going to say it. Wow. Then Zoyma says, "Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad." Can I just take away your speech? Eli Dykman, Shkoyach. Banana. So that makes a lot of sense. Shema Yisrael, Hashem, Yichud Hashem. Banana says, V'afta l'reicha kamoicha. Okay, Zeklal Torah. When the Hillel was teaching the ger, stand on one foot, the whole time. V'afta l'reicha kamoicha. By the side of Allah, the chaver l'savet, etc. Comes along Shimon ben Paz, and he says the last pasuk in the world that anybody would think of. Which, by the way, is Parashas Tamid, which we discussed already. If somebody is not going to say Karbanis every day, which he should, at least he should say Parashas Tamid. Very, very important. What is going on? And the pshat is that one of the biggest yisoidus in Yiddishkeit is, you hear kids? Guys, the biggest yisoid in Yiddishkeit, and that's the yisoid of Daf Yomi. And that is the consistency of the Daf, the consistency of Tamid. That's what he was trying to say. Says Ben Paz. They were all agreed with him that he had the best pasuk. The best pasuk. There's nothing like learning Torah every single day of your life, which there's hardly a program in the world that has that. There's Amud Yomi, okay, but most other programs don't have that consistency of learning, and that's what we are celebrating today. That we went from the beginning of Shas and even before that, every single day. Now, there's not a lot of shiurim like that, you should know. Not to brag, but a lot of shiurim, when it comes Yantiv, they'll do 2 shiurim before and they'll make up later. Every single day, there was a shiur in MDY throughout Sukkot. On Rosh Hashanah, there was a shiur in the morning. On the day that we're being Messiah, Seder Moed, unbelievable coincidence. To the point where the Gemara understands that it should push off Shabbos, it's understood that it pushes off Shabbos, Shekain Tadir. Something that's so consistent pushes off Shabbos. Says the Gemara, very simple. So now we have 3. What do we have? Mila, Pesach, and Tamid. How many combinations can you make out of 3? 3. You can do, if you want to do 2 out of 3. You can do Pesach with Mila, Mila and Tamid and Pesach. That's it. Those are the 3 combinations. Or a 4th one, all of them together. Says the Gemara, let's do a combo. You said you can't learn how to Pesach because you have a great reason. You can't learn how to Tamid, you have a great reason. Okay, but what if you put both of them together? Says the Gemara, as we said, let's learn from 2 out of the 3. Okay, give me 2. Memilo Pesach, let's start with those 2. Mila and Pesach, Shekain Kares, both of them have Kares. You can't learn, let's say, something else. Pesach v'Tamid, Shekain Tzarech Gavaya. It's a carbon. Okay, so for Hashem, we're going to push off Shabbos. Memila v'Tamid, what about Mila and Tamid? Shekain Yeshna Lifnei Adibur. They were before Matan Torah. Mashenkin Yibum is after Matan Torah. It came in the Torah. We have to go according to the Manoma that says that the oil in the midbar was a tamid, therefore tamid existed before Matan Torah. What about all three together? Okay, so we can't learn from all three because all three were before Matan Torah. Why again? Why do I need the word alel? Why would I have a havamina that you could be miyabim, one of the arayis? I would think, you hear this? I think I would think that you should learn from kibbut aveim. L'sanya, yachol yeh kibbut aveim doiche Shabbos. I would have avamina that maybe if your father tells you to be Moshal Shabbos, the mitzvah of kibbut aveim pushes off Shabbos, even in a situation of kares. He tells you, go be Moshal Shabbos and you're going to get kares, you should. Pushes it off. You're not going to get kares in that case because you listen to your father and the Torah says, Shimichavin Yifah. What's the next word? Ani Hashem. In other words, even your father and mother have to listen to me. All of you are going to listen to me, and if your father and mother tell you not to listen to me and be Moshal Shabbos, don't listen to them. My love, be over iser that you be chayav kares. The time because of Rachmana Shabsayis Tishmayru. So the Torah says in this situation, do not listen. But the rest of the Torah, like Yibum, you should be performing Yibum, even though it consists of the rice of the card. Time because of Rachmana Shabsayis Tishmayru. We're not talking about that the father told you to do something that gets kares. We're talking about that your father told you to do a lav that doesn't have kares. Be Moshal Shabbos, take the animal, go this way. The only time you chayiv kares on Shabbos is if you do an aver with your own body. But if you do an aver with your animal, we say it every Shabbat, right? That is the Issa Deraisa, but without kares. Rabbi Sai, I saw a beautiful, beautiful Moshal. Rabbi, everybody in the back, we're done with the shir basically. I just want to tell you a Moshal that has to do with today's daf and today's event. You hear this? Guys in the back that are talking. You hear? Listen to this. They don't want to be a mevater. Who's the guy by the sashimi that's taking sushi? He has payas and a beard, and he's not facing us. Who's that guy? I don't want to be mevashim berabim. Turn around. Forget the sushi. Listen to this part. Huh? Okay, we're finishing. This is it. Rabbi side, the Dubin Magid says a beautiful Moshal that has to do with this sugi right now. And it has to do with tonight. The Dubin Magid says that there were three friends that went to study in a faraway place, and they came back with three chachmas, unbelievable chachmas. The first one, Ruvain, he learned how to use a certain device. Let's call it Ruach HaKodesh, and he's able to see different things throughout the world. His friend was able to transport himself within milliseconds to any place on earth. And the third guy, Levi, he learned how to heal any person in the world, any disease. And they were sitting and schmoozing. And Reuven says, I see in some far out country in Africa, I see the daughter of the king is dying right now. So Shimon says, I could bring us there within a second. Let's go. Levi here has the antidote. He could heal her. They get into Shimon's car and it flies up. It lands right by the palace. They knock on the door. They say, we're here to save your daughter. We have this guy. The guy takes out a special potion. Levi, he gives it to the daughter. And the daughter jumps out of bed. She starts walking around and dancing. The king can't believe it. The king says, I have such a kares hatoiv. There's nothing I can give to you. Some money, what am I going to give to you? I'll tell you what. Here's my daughter. Any one of you three can marry my daughter. The daughter of the king. They start fighting. They go to the side, a huddle. And the guy says, Reuven says, it's me. Without me, you wouldn't even know that this whole situation existed. I saw it. Says Levi, without me, she wouldn't be healed. What are you talking about? Says Shimon, I don't care about the two of you. It's like watching it on a TV screen. She would be dead by the time we even got into the taxi. I got you there. They're fighting. And the daughter hears this, and she says, "You're right. All of you are right. You all got here and brought me here. You all came here, you all saw it, and you healed me. But tachlis, who do I need to marry right now? I need the guy with the potion. Because I'm sick. Tomorrow I need it again. So it doesn't help me that you have this car that travels from here to there and that this guy can see this. I need the potion guy. I want to marry the potion guy." Says the Dubna Magid, in our sugya, the Gemara says, Shloisha Shutfim Ba'adam. A person is created through three partners: his father, his mother, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Come the father and mother, and they say, "Oh, without us, this kid is nothing. He wouldn't be here if I wasn't pregnant for 9 months. I went through all the labor and everything." The father says his thing, whatever. You know what I went through that labor, through that thing? Okay, fine. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, okay. You know what the Gemara says it? The Gemara knows what it's talking about. You're all partners. Fine. But from here on out, who do you need? They're orphans. They survive. There are other people that take care of them. But if you don't have the Rebbeinu Shalom for 1 second of your life, you're dead on the spot. On the spot. If you can't breathe, you're dead. If your heart stops beating for a second, you're dead. If you don't have electric going through your brain, you're dead. So from here on out, you need the Rebbeinu Shalom. And that's why, if a father or mother tell you, be Moshal Shabbos, yeah, very good. You owe them. But you owe HaKadosh Baruch Hu every second of the day. Rabbi side. I was thinking when I heard this Moshal, how appropriate it is for today, for right now. One might say, you know, Eli's Chavrusa is Rebbe. Without him, Eli would say shtusim half the time, and he wouldn't have good jokes, whatever. Okay, good taina. And without Gary in the booth, you wouldn't have video, you wouldn't have anything. And without Yosef, your videos wouldn't be edited like that. You wouldn't have that experience. Without Avi Kamiansky, we wouldn't have anything. We don't have finances, garnish. Without Noam. Without Nachman Seltzer. Without Miranda Kash. Without Yossi Klein. Without Nissan Gans, we would be at 1,000 people now. We're at 10, 12,000 people. Without Eli Stefansky, oh, you give such a great cheer. For a boy side. Every single person in this room, including myself, including my chavrusa, we're all partners in this unbelievable puzzle called MDY. Now one person can take credit and say, oh, it's me. Without me, it's this. We're all in this together. We all bring something to the table. Every single person. I see Rafael the barber smiling over there. 163 people he brought to this year. So remember that. But what's the antidote? Very good. We got here to this place. The Daf. The Daf is going to continue and it's going to bring us and it's going to lead us. Torah is going to take us and save us and change our lives even more. You think your lives are changed? It's going to change even more. That consistency, the Talmud, the Torah, the daily learning, the Chevershaft that we have here, the camaraderie, that's going to take us weiter and weiter. Mazel tov, everybody. Now we'll see you in the great room over there. Look how beautiful it is. Yeshua for coming. Mazel tov.